Okay, for a minute here. All right, man. Uh, we're gonna take you into about taking this story about a man who's been known for working with the likes of Richard Pryor for like decades, and he did a lot of work. I mean, doing all the directing and producing for like television shows that came from the creation of Norman Lear. Rest in peace. You know, and he was like he's like he's like the godfather of comedy. So what long ado, this man has been known for doing comedy, and he ends up being featured on on these the skits. He been known on the Chappelle Show skits. You know what I mean? He been known in it. You know what I'm saying? And he was doing all the work. He wrote all this stuff for TV shows. Like Living Color. He did all the work for Chappelle Show. He did the skits. He ended up acting in some films and things like that. To me, this man could be the godfather of the entire genre that was well the known that's what you known and called as comedy. So he known Eddie Murphy for years so quick. So and we're taking you to Paul Gladney, who was also better known by the stage name Paul Mooney. He was an American comedian, a writer, and an actor. He collaborated with the likes of John Elroy Sanford, who's also known as Red Fox, Edward Murphy, Edward Reagan Murphy, and David Cowie Weber Chappelle. But he wrote for the likes of a comedian who could be like comedy royalty to most people. Richard Franklin Lennox Thomas Pryor. And the television show, even is becoming a series since the 1970s, is Sanford and Son in Living Color, in Chappelle's Show, that can become an American sketch comedy television series that was already been created by him and Neil Brennan, as well as the Buddy Holly story. No, it's been out in the 70s. In the Spike Lee directed satirical satirical film. It was called Bamboozle. And the Chappelle Show will take you to the early life of this man right here. Mooney, Paul Mooney, born Paul Gladney. He was born in 1941 in Shreveport, Louisiana, and moved to Oakland, California. 7 years later, his parents were George Gladney and Lavoya Ely Mooney. That's the name. That's her name, Lavoya Ely Mooney. But Mooney was raised primarily by his grandmother, who's known by the name Amy Ely, who was known among the family as quote unquote mama. Gladney coined the nickname Mooney after the original Scarface, 1932 actor who goes by the name of Paul Mooney, which itself was the actor's stage name. On to the career. Mooney, he became a ringmaster with the Gatti Charles Circus during his stint as a ringmaster. He always found himself writing comedy and telling jokes, which later helped Mooney. It helped Mooney land his first professional work as a writer for Richard Pryor. We're going there. Oh, we're going there, boys. We're going there. Mooney's childhood friends, a gospel folk duo named Joe and Eddie, first made him aware of Richard Pryor in the mid 1960s. Mid 1960s, after seeing him perform in the East Coast, especially New York City. Mooney wrote some of Pryor's routines for his 1975 appearance on the Saturday Night Live sketch comedy show. And he co-wrote, and Mooney had co-wrote for the material that was for, especially his material, for the albums that came from Richard Pryor. It was like the words like these are names like came from his albums. It was like, this is something I said, Bicentennial Nigger, and Live on the Sunset Strip, and co-wrote the screenplay of Pryor's 1986 film JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling, as a head writer for the Richard Pryor Show. He gave many young comics, such as the likes of Robin Williams, Sandra Bernhard, Marshall Warfield, and it is the likes of guys that came in alongside him. John Witherspoon, rest in peace, and Tim Reed, who was still around. Their first break into show business. Mooney also wrote for Red Fox's Sanford and Son and Good Times. Acted in several cult classics, including the Richard Pryor comedy films. It was called Which Way Is Up, the movie. In another movie that was out long after it, Bustin' Loose. In the cult satirical comedy, I think, yeah, I think that Robert Townsend was already featured in it. It's called Hollywood Shuffle. It was a late 1980s American satirical comedy film about the racial stereotypes of blacks in a film in film and TV. Okay, and portrayed singer-songwriter Sam Cooke, who's no longer with us, in the Buddy Holly story. The Buddy Holly story that was I shown you right here. He was the head writer. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you about Mooney. Mooney was like the head writer for the first year of Fox's In Living Color. If I remember this American sketch comedy TV series that already ran from 1990 to 1994, inspiring the character Homie the Clown, played by Damon Wayans. Mooney later went on to play Wayans' father in a Spike Lee directed film Bamboozled. Bamboozled, right here. That I showed you right here. As the comedian Junebug. Junebug. Mooney initially appeared in the sketches, was called Ask a Black Dude, and Mooney at the Movies on Comedy Central's The Chappelle Show. He later appeared in Negro Damas. That's the word, Negro Damas. It was like a sketch that's already out. An African American version of Nostradamus, as Negro Damas. Mooney had ad libbed the answers to life's most unsolvable mysteries, such as why do white people love Wayne Brady? There's the answer because Wayne Brady makes Bryant Gumbel look like Malcolm X. Mooney was planning to reprise his role as Negro Damas in the third season of The Chappelle Show before Dave Chappelle left the show due to the creative and contractual differences. Yeah, in 2006, Mooney hosted the BET tribute to Black History Month titled The Most, you know, bleeped moments in Black history. In the show, he narrated some of the most shameful incidents, including African Americans since 1980. The top 25 moments included incidents involving Marion Barry, Terrell Owens, Wilson Good, Michael Jackson, rest in peace, Flavor Flav, who is still alive, Whitney Houston, who is no longer with us, and Tupac Shakur, whose real name is Lassane Crooks. In 2007, Mooney released his first book. The memoir is called Black is the New White. In late 2014, Paul's brother announced that Mooney had prostate cancer. Prostate cancer. Mooney continued to tour and perform his stand up comedy act. In September 2005, Mooney performed a segment at the 2005 BET Awards, Comedy Awards. It was called the Black People Wake Up Call Award, in which he jokingly presents an award to African American celebrities who neglected their blackness to try to blend in with Caucasians, only to find out they're still a nigger in their eyes. The nominees included Michael Jackson, Oprah Winfrey, Kimberly Jones, who's also known as Lil Kim, and Diana Ross. Mooney awarded Ross and made numerous jokes about Ross's 2002 arrest for DUI, according to the people who were in attendance. Mooney also made light of the death of Ross's ex-husband, Orne Nays Jr., who fell while climbing the mountain. This man died while he was climbing. That dude, this I'm gonna tell you about this thing. Mooney made Mooney had also made a light of the death of Diane Ross's former husband, Orny Nace Jr., who fell while mountain climbing in 2004. Her daughter, actress Tracy Ellis Ross, who had to be Tracy Silverstein, who was a daughter of Diana Ross and daughter uh, of Arnie Nace Jr., who was also in attendance, that she reportedly was so offended and embarrassed that she left the room. Backstage and in the press room, Mooney was so asked that if he felt that his performance was over the top, which that he had completely replied, "How can somebody get arrested for being under the influence and go to jail, and I be over the top? I think that's over the top, don't you? Agree or disagree, folks? No, comedy is not over the top when you are a celebrity and you do crazy stuff. That's the game." When Mooney was informed that Tracy Ellis Ross was in the audience, that he stated that I didn't know that her mama could have been in there. That's not the point. I didn't drive drunk. Now I'm responsible for Diana Ross. If you scrutinize Jay Leno and David Letterman the same way you scrutinize me, then I'll agree with you. But if you don't touch them white folks, don't touch me. They say whatever they want to say every night. The majority of Mooney's performance was so edited out of the televised broadcast and not even aired. Oh yeah, the N word. On November 26, 2006, Mooney appeared on CNN, the cable news network, and talked about how he would stop using the word nigga due to Michael Richards' outburst on stage at the Laugh Factory. He referred to Richards as having become his Dr. Phil and cured him of the use of the epithet. On November the 30th of that year, same year, Mooney had elaborated upon these remarks from his appearance on CNN as a guest of the Farai Shadia on the NPR program, the National Public Radio program News and Notes. He declared that he would convene a conference on this controversial subject in the near future, like just mentioned, as well as perform his first nigga free comedy in the upcoming days. That show, which that Mooney had performed in the Lincoln Theater, following a set by Dick Gregory, who was a legend in the game. He's a comedian, actor, and writer, and activist and social critic. That took place on December the 2nd, 2006. Mooney almost made it through his entire set, about an hour of jokes. An hour of jokes. Before he mistakenly before he mistakenly used the word in a routine on the late Orenthal James Simpson. They call him the Juice. Mooney, man, he ran off stage covering his face in his hands and walked back a few moments later by saying that this is what he mentioned. This is what he just mentioned something. Like I'm really going to get it now. This is probably already on the internet. But on the BET special 25 events that misshaped Black America, Mooney reiterated that he was no longer using the word. He was quoted as saying, like, I am no longer going to use the N word. Instead of saying what's up, my nigga, say what's up, my Michael Richards, at a summit with Jesse Jackson, Reverend Al Sharpton, and Richards. Mooney forgave Richards. His personal life, I gotta read this too. But Paul Mooney, man, he had about 5 children, twin sons who had to be by the name of Dwayne and Daryl. Another son who goes by the name of Shane, and you have a daughter named Spring, and another son who's named by Simeon. Simeon. But Dwayne and Daryl Mooney, like twin sons from a relationship prior to his marriage to Yvonne Carruthers. They are comedians known as the Mooney Twins, and have carried on their father's legacy. Shane Mooney, a son from his marriage to Yvonne Carruthers, whom that he married in 1973. Spring Mooney, Spring Mooney, a daughter born after his divorce from Yvonne Carruthers. Simeon Bujold Mooney, another son who tragically died. Yes, another son who tragically died in a car accident in 2001. In a 2019 tweet, Mooney mentioned the words like, he mentioned this like, my best friends are my children, all 4 of them. It is referring to the 4 surviving children at the time. That's what it means. He left it out like it's called referring to the 4 surviving children at the time. See, his daughter Spring tweeted a heartfelt tribute following his death in 2021, saying her world was forever shook. That's the words, forever shook. In a 2019 interview with Comedy Hype, Richard Pryor's ex-bodyguard Rashan Khan alleged that Mooney had a sexual relationship with Pryor's son, Richard Pryor Jr., and violated him when Pryor Jr. was a minor, when he was a teenager. Khan also alleged that Pryor wanted to organize a contract killing against Mooney in retaliation, and was willing to pay $1 million for one, but was only prevented from doing so by his 1980 fire incident that happened years ago. This is long after he did the comedy special. Richard Pryor Jr. has confirmed that he was raped as a teenager. Yes, as we said the word, he was raped as a teenager, but did not mention Mooney by name as his alleged rapist. He must have told him, well, Mooney must have didn't want to do all this by taking them secrets to the grave, but damn, I felt bad for him. We'll take you straight into the death right here. And this is a tragic part when on May 19th, 2021, Paul Mooney died of a heart attack at his home in Oakland, California, at the age of 79. These are his filmography right here. It's all the work that he's been doing here. Carter's Army in 1970, FTA in 1972, Which Way Is Up in 1977, The Buddy Holly Story in 1978, Bustin' Loose in 1981, Brewster's Millions in 1985, JoJo Dancer, Your Life Is Calling in 1986, Hollywood Shuffle, yeah, that's the word, Hollywood Shuffle in 1987, The Legend of Dolomite. Well, there's a picture right here. The Legend of Dolomite is an American 1994 short film directed by a man named Foster V. Corder about the black exploitation film character Dolomite, created by the actor, uh, musician, and I don't know, and the party comedian Mr. Rudy Ray Moore. I think Paul Mooney was known to be working with Rudy Ray Moore, as I speak of all those years ago. But they will meet up. They will probably have to meet up in heaven at some point. His work is his work on In the Army Now. In the Army Now, that was like a film that's out there. I think it featured David Allen Greer was already in it, and Pauly Shore and Andy Dick. Lori Petty was already in the film. High Frequency. Uh, Mooney was doing all the work on that movie. Show you this. High Frequency. And he was featured in that comedy special. That's where comedy is in a heavy rotation. Bamboozled. I think it was like 1998. It was High Frequency. Bamboozled. He played the character Junebug, but it was in 2000. The Old Settler. Uh, the movie, it was called Call Me Claus. It was with Whoopi Goldberg. The Ketchup King. Well, Call Me Claus came out in 2001, same as The Old Settler. The Ketchup King. This dysfunctional family. Oh, it's word. Dysfunctional. That's what's it called? It's in 2003. It's called Dysfunctional Family. That's called Dysfunctional Family. That's what's named Dysfunctional Family. Yeah, I think I kept that DVD. Bitter Jester is now the same as Dysfunctional Family. I think it was featuring Richard Belzer and Richard Pryor, they were no longer with us. In 2004, he did some work on. He played a character. He played by himself on this special right here. It's called The N Word. Know what the N word means? Let me go. Uh, let me go define this one. Nigger. Nigger is a racial slur directed at black people. References to nigger have been increasingly replaced by the euphemistic the N word, notably in cases where nigger is mentioned but not directly used. In an instance of linguistic reappropriation, the term nigger is also used casually and fraternally. So why is it why he had to do a documentary based on the N word? So I used the N word. I used the N word with somebody gonna fuck around and diss me already. There's one right here. Paul Mooney. He plays as himself in a comedy special that was out in 2002. It was called Analyzing White America. But he was in Bitter Jester playing by himself, in the movie. The N Word, he played by himself. It's just two documentaries. The comedy specials, this was out like 2003, 2004. But 2002, Paul Mooney, Analyzing White America, has all these people featured on there. They already had cut scenes that's already been put out in there. I don't even know if Tubi has that comedy special, but I don't even think they have it. In 2006, he was in Know Your History. Jesus is Black. So was Cleopatra. But in 2007, He played as the character George in Homie Spumoni, so I don't know why he did. But he played by himself in this. This is a documentary. It's called Good Hair. It's like a documentary type film, whatever. But it was already narrated by Chris Rock. Okay. See, in 2009, that came out. It's a documentary. But 2010, he was in It's the End of the World. 2012, he was in The Godfather of Comedy, which that everybody have referring Paul Mooney as. Yeah, they could have called Paul Mooney the Godfather of Comedy. That's a 2012 documentary or whatever that movie was or comedy special. And that was out in 2012. In 2014, he was in Hidden Colors 3, The Rules of Racism. 2016, he played a Klansman in Meet the Blacks. He was known to be working with the likes of Mike Epps, Gary Owen, and Lil Duval, Brisha Webb, which that she never even get a chance to find out who she was. George Lopez, he's a comedian. Uh, Mike Tyson, he was this boxer. He likes to start knocking people out in the ring. He'll a retired boxer. This is TV stuff right here. This is the stuff that he did the writing for. Sanford and Son, Good Times. These are two TV shows that came from the legs of Norman Lear. Okay, they're all Norman Lear shit right here. All that shit belonged to Norman Lear and all of them, man. All that shit came from Bud Yorkin and Tandem Productions and Norman Lear. And Saturday Night Live, he was in it. He did the writing for it. He did the writing for the Richard Pryor show that brings you to like 4 episodes. Well, 1972, Sanford and Son was out. 1972, he wrote he been writing for those 3 episodes. Uh, in Good Times, he did the writing. You know what I mean? 1974, but 1975, he did the Richard Pryor, Joe Scott Heron uh thing right there. He did the Joe Scott Heron character. Uh, I think they did the skit that was for the Saturday Night Live. Uh, was this American late night live sketch comedy variety show, which that Lauren Michaels had created, and and it was developed by the likes of Michaels and Dick Ebersol. So he did the writing for 4 episodes of the Richard Pryor show in 1977. In 1984, he did the writing for Pryor's Place. It's a word, Pryor's Place. It reminds me of some show that's called Peyton's Place. So there's Richard Pryor right there, standing with all those people there. Used to be on CBS in 1984. See, that's how funny Richard Pryor is back then. Richard Pryor, you see how funny he was back in the day, and I always respected him for what he did. In Living Color, from 1990 to 1994. I mean, he did the writing for those 4 episodes in 1977 and 1984 for 4 episodes each, like 4 episodes apiece for Richard Pryor's show and Pryor's Place in 1977 and 1984. But in 1990 and 1994, he wrote about 16 episodes of that In Living Color show that reaches its cancellation. He was already in the Larry Sanders show. It's Larry Sanders' show that was out there. It was the main two people have already created this is the likes of Gary Shandling and Dennis Klein. It was being canceled from 1992 to 1998. So he played, but Mooney played the role as Clyde. But in 2003, he wrote for 3 episodes, and he's been acting for those 2 episodes of the Chappelle Show. The Clyde character was portrayed by Paul Mooney in 1995. The Negro Damas character. Let me tell you about the Negro Damas character. It was portrayed by Paul Mooney in 2003 in the Chappelle Show. 2 episodes he'd been acting on it. For 3 episodes he wrote on it. George Mooney in 2004 he played the Judge Mooney character. He'd been acting and writing. He'd been acting and writing for at least about 7 episodes. But there's the stand-up stuff right here. There's some stand-up shit right here, boy. Race. Masterpiece. Black people built the pyramids. Analyzing white America. Know your history. Jesus is black, so was Cleopatra. It's the end of the world. Shaquille O'Neal's All-Star Comedy Jam. And the godfather of comedy. But his biography right there, in, in the book, this book right here is the black is the new white. Mooney talks about his partnership with Richard Pryor and from their first meeting to Pryor's death in 2005. Mooney reflects on his childhood on and some of the most notorious moments in his life, including organizing a performers strike on the Comedy Store, and publicly giving up the N word after Michael Richards's onstage outburst, and features a foreword written by David Curry Weber Chappelle. Yeah, that man wants to come back to doing SNL stuff. Let him. References. I ain't gonna feel like reading this shit. Don't mean shit to me. Yeah. It's enough for me to read. All right. What you guys think about Paul Mooney and his early life, his career, his legacy, and his death? Well, his personal life, I get a chance to edit this out. But hit the like button. Hit the like button on this video, and you can drop a comment below and say something about this video. This video is this video is always gotta be educational, but it could teach people how to read. But I gotta do all the work. Yeah, Paul Mooney. He's been trying to tell us all along his um his comedy special will take you to will take you to the comedy special that I just watched last night. A piece of my mind. God bless America. He's been trying to tell us all along. He's been telling us that the white people kept taking all of the role models, heroes, you know what I'm saying? Saviors. I'm like, he was right about that. Like, people keep taking all these celebrities away from him in the field of people. I'm like, he's been doing too much of it. He'll still tell it anyway, like it is, but it was like, see, if you people want to start, if you keep on coming for our white people, you keep on coming for our heroes, our role models, our father figures, our saviors. They're the ones that already they're looking out for a lot of us, including myself and my sisters and my brother, my stepbrothers and my stepsister. Okay, people people that they want to pay the way for. I myself that they paved the way for. Like the white people want to keep on coming for our ancestors. Quit taking our shit. Okay, it's one thing is they're coming for everyone else. Like, hey, and Paul Mooney already gave those people a piece of his mind. I mean, they'll say something about Sandra Bullock, which that he'll have to address. That's in the part of his comedy special, A Piece of My Mind. It was the God Bless America comedy special. I think I watched a little bit before I had to go to bed last night. But it's a good show. It's a good comedy show. You gotta love the comedy. But it's your time to watch other people go with a grain of salt. And they learned everything from them. But we got to learn to show all sorts of restraint and things of that nature. But it's all just speculation and it's just information that people wanted to find out about what happened with Paul Mooney. See his legacy. You know, people had to be learned to pay attention to this man because he already told the truth. Even though his comedy special, which that he did, I dug it. You know what I'm saying? He'll talk about Barack Obama. He'll talk about Barack Obama. He'll talk about a bunch of other people. Come on, this is what he mentioned, but that's his uh that's his uh that's his magnum opus. His magnum opus. That's his magnum opus right there. That's his ethos. You know what I mean? That he had to speak on it. Let him speak on it. Even though his opinion, he doesn't give a fuck. But I'm ready to memorialize this man. Hold on. Let me get back to Paul Mooney's. Let me get back to Paul Mooney's name. Okay, I'm gonna write his real name, Paul Gladney. Okay. August 4th, August the 4th, 1941. Got him. Let me see if I got it right. Oh yeah. May 19th, 2021. Got him. Yeah, I had to memorialize uh, a comedy icon. That's what I had to do. See, I had to memorialize him in that way that I had to memorialize other people. But this live show here, this live stream is dedicated into the memoriam of Mr. Paul Gladney, who's also known to people as Paul Mooney, born on August the 4th, 1941 in Shreveport, Louisiana. Died on May the 19th, 2021 in Oakland, California. Rest in peace, Paul Mooney.